Hello and welcome to this news hour. I'm Daniel Kasahun with the news. The Executive Committee of the Prosperity Party, PP, discussed on Wednesday national and regional issues and set directions. According to the statement released by the party chairperson, Abiy Ahmed, on his social media page, the Executive Committee has set direction for the next steps. The Executive Committee has also deliberated on the country's security, political economic activities and geopolitical reforms as well. The Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Demeka Mekonnen, held talks with the Executive Director of the World Food Programme, David Beasley, in New York. According to Minister of Foreign Affairs, in the sideline of the United Nations General Assembly meeting, Demeka met with WFP chief and discussed on the current situation in Ethiopia. During the occasion, the Deputy Prime Minister briefed the WFP official about the ongoing efforts exerted by the government of Ethiopia to address the humanitarian situation in the northern part of Ethiopia and the challenges being encountered in this regard. He also underscored the need to recognize government's unreserved efforts to enhance humanitarian aid in the region.
So we're just walking to the Mescal Festival now. We're about to get past the police line. They're going to check everything. So wish us luck.
Yes, we passed.
Success! Just about to get interviewed by the local ENA News. Interview number 3 for Hannah. This time with EBC, which is the, I think it's the Ethiopian broadcasting
You're watching this news hour. Ethiopia is one of the top nations to have inscribed numbers of tangible and intangible world heritage to the UNESCO. Foreign Affairs head of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, Dr. Abune Aregawi, said the finding of the true cross is the center of love, unity and solidarity. Haptam Mashagre reports.
The finding of the true cross or Mescal is celebrated across Ethiopia every year on 26 September to commemorate the finding of the true Holy Cross of Christ. Celebrations begin with the building of the Demera bonfire in Mescal Square in Addis Ababa. Talking to TV English, His Holiness Abune Aregawi, who is Archbishop of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church Foreign Affairs Department head, expresses the visible and invisible message of the true cross.
The cross has two signs, that is the visible sign and the invisible sign. The visible sign is like such kind of ceremony or feast. The people are gathering and commemorates the finding of the true cross. That's very colorful and attractive. But the invisible sign, which indicates the passion, the crucifixion, the suffering of our Lord Jesus Christ, instead of all human beings.
The finding of the True Cross is one intangible heritage that has been inscribed by UNESCO at the list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2013. According to Abu Naragawi, the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church has played an unprecedented role to keep the original and unique tradition of the holiday to transcend it as a world heritage.
The church has played a main role, of course, for such kind of great intangible heritage because so many years ago, I think the church still keeping and saving this intangible heritage. That's why the church is the owner of course, this festival. But now this festival is honor of all entire world because of it's registered by UNESCO. That means this heritage is not only belong to the Ethiopian Orthodox, but also belong to Africa and the entire world.
The finding of the True Cross that has been inscribed by UNESCO will bring socio-economic advantages to the country to promote the nation to the international community.
I think it has many opportunities. For instance, it has an opportunity for tourism. Many foreigners, they come to participate with this great festival. That means they can see different cultures and vestments and also different religious activities at the same time. This is the outdoor festival, therefore great people or in thousands of people or even in millions, they are celebrating together in outdoor in Meskel Square and other part of Ethiopia. This is also a good opportunity to introduce our culture, our society and our tradition, and also they can visit different parts of historical places and holy places, every corner of Ethiopia. This is, I think, a good opportunity for our tourism industry.
Abu Naragawi calls upon all Ethiopians to extend their efforts to help the needy segments in Ethiopia while observing the finding of the True Cross. Meskel, the commemoration feast of the finding of the true Holy Cross of Christ, was inscribed in the UNESCO at the list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2013.
عبرله مشان عبرله مشان عبرله كلا علم عقام عديله تهرفتي كم سنة
بس لمي ጓደኛ ኢንቫይት አርጋኝ ነው የመጣሁት
አንዳንድ ፍየል ይዞ ወደ ወንዝ ነው የሚሄደው በወንዝ ከባቢ እንደዚህ እንደምታዩት ሶላ አድርጎ በልተነስ
እዚህ ላይ ተመደበው እንግዲህ ባራኪው አሰላ
የሚያቃጥል ነገር ለሚወድ ሰው ግን
እኔ አሁን በጣም ወጣለሁ
ላለ እንደማ ማለት سمعته قبريل أوقحتا خدنا خنعسل معلتنا هلنا جميرنا يو دابوي بهيل سراي تعمنا يو اندا حراس برقن ستينا يو اندا حرير مريت تمسينا يو كم زي حلف شعور صحسعنا يو طعم كيدو طعم كيبلنا يو.
You are with this news hour. While the muskal season continues, we find yet another unique aspects of it in the multinational southern states known as Yahode Maskala. This festivity provides the Hadiya with an exciting opportunity for a fresh start. A zone known for contributing to Ethiopia's intellectuals in plenty, Hadiya beams with hope and aspirations. In this one, too, spicy foods, all traditional, are prepared well ahead of time and served. Wearing the red gowns and jackets spotted by black and white, the Hadiya ring out the old and ring in the new. The following piece by Binyam Alamayo sheds light on the festivity.
Yahode Maskala is a time for fresh hopes and new beginnings. While celebrating their New Year's season, the Hadiya do blessings. Young boys herald the beginning of the New Year's season with the traditional flute. Considering inset or false banana as their lifeline, the Hadiya use it to prepare kocho, or the root of inset. The women prepare a special food known as atakana. It has curing effect for patients, while at the same time helping feeding mothers gain physical strength.
በሀዲያ ብሔር የሴቶች ሙያ መለኪያ ዋናው አተካና ነውና ይሄንን መስራት ካልቻልሽ ባላታገኝም ቢያገባሽ ራሱ ይፈታሻል ብያሉኝ ያሉኝ.
Several other dishes are also served, most of them spicy. On the day of the Yahode, elders bless the bull to be slaughtered, spreading butter on its hump. Then it's time for festivity. The specially prepared meat is eaten by the community after blessings by the elders.
ካሌላ ዘመን ይበለጥ አይሁን
You are watching this news hour. The United States of America should break all the support mechanism for the TPLF. Senior advisor during the Clinton administration in the Africa Bureau of the State Department, Roger Irvin, made this remark in an exclusive interview with ETV. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's recent open letter has eloquently expressed Ethiopia's sovereignty while justifying the military operation against TPLF. The USA has, however, either failed to know this or does not want to acknowledge it. He has elaborated. Shfarolaga reports.
Roger Irvin, among many other positions he assumed, was a senior advisor during the Clinton administration in the Africa Bureau of the State Department, having played important roles in some of the most crucial foreign policy events of the time. ETV has spent some time with him discussing current issues unfolding in Ethiopia. One of them was Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's recent open letter following Biden's executive order in the country. He says the letter has expressively defended Ethiopia's sovereignty.
My reading of the letter is he's trying to make the point that Ethiopia is a sovereign country. It cares about its people. It is not that the point of defending itself is to not attack the Tigrayan people in general, but to stop an illegal action by the TPLF to undermine legal authority in Ethiopia, potentially take down a democratically elected government. And I think that that's been the Prime Minister has tried to explain that in many different ways, and I think that this letter is a very eloquent way to do so. And I encourage as much dialogue as possible between the U.S. and Ethiopia, and this is maybe a way to change the dialogue between the two countries and eventually get a more flow-through method of communication and getting both the U.S. and Ethiopian government on the same page in terms of how it deals with the TPLF.
Regarding the executive order, he says it comes from failure to understand the realities on the ground in Ethiopia.
I think that they have either missed a point or they don't really know how to handle the TPLF. And so they're trying to engage both parties to come to the table. And that's not really the issue. The issue at this point is to put the screws down on the TPLF and force them to the negotiating table, and also engage all the other countries that are supporting the TPLF to come to the table with the TPLF and force them to the table so that we can get a quick solution to this. I think breaking the support mechanism for the TPLF really is the only way to do this. And I think that the U.S. either doesn't know how to do that or doesn't want to do that for reasons I don't know, because it doesn't make any sense for the U.S. to even have even be seen as someone that's providing equal support at equal time to the TPLF. I think it's a misunderstanding of what they should be doing, and there's probably some conflict within the government about how to do this. And the recent executive order, I think, is one that I think it's a misreading of the situation on the ground, personally.
He has also called on the USA to reconsider its policy on the continent of Africa, which has been long overdue.
The recent mass massacre of civilians in Amhara region attests to TPLF's never-ending despise for the Amhara people. An author argues the TPLF invasion of the Amhara region is the culmination of a carefully calculated genocidal plan against the Amhara people, he said. Sayut Amrat tells us more.
US-based author Sisai Wanyo wrote on Borkana online magazine that TPLF has been scapegoating the Amhara people for everything that went wrong in pre-1991 Ethiopia. Sisai also mentioned the use of nefariously invented words by TPLF for genocidal calls against the Amhara people in Oromia, Benshangul Gumuz, Somali, and other parts of Ethiopia. And the present-day mass killings, displacements, and atrocities against Amhara people in different parts of Ethiopia are a culmination of decades of hate-mongering and indoctrination, stigmatization, and dehumanization of the Amhara people, he said. The recent mass massacre of women, children, and elderly in China town, North Ethiopia, attests to TPLF's never-ending despise for the Amhara people. Sisai attributes the current massacring of Amharas to TPLF's spoken person Getachew Redda's remarks of settling a score with Amhara elites. When TPLF started its assault on the Amhara region, it wasn't an ordinary incursion or an extension of the 8 months war in Tigray. It was rather a naked genocidal call motivated by vengeance to deprive, annihilate, displace, and starve the Amhara people. 3 months after the unconscionable atrocities were unleashed upon the Amhara people in Wollo and Gondar by TPLF's ruthless gang, the Amhara elites are nowhere to be found. While the Amhara people have been persecuted for decades, the Settle Score operation unleashed by the TPLF junta 3 months ago left tens of thousands of Amharas raped and murdered, infrastructure destroyed, and entire villages destroyed. The TPLF invasion is the culmination of a carefully calculated and long-developing genocidal plan against the Amharas, Sisai noted, and went on explaining the invasion triggered a mass exodus of close to 1 million internally displaced people, majority of them children, women, and elderly. The scale and severity of the atrocities are not yet fully known, as a significant part of Wollo is still under TPLF's siege. Sisai consolidated his arguments with remarks by Gebremeddin Araya, former treasurer and top leader of TPLF, who left the TPLF and distinguished himself as a fearless and uncompromising patriotic Ethiopian truth-teller. Gebremeddin says TPLF leaders taught their members, followers and supporters that Amhara is enemy of Tigrayans and Ethiopia. Tigray was a sovereign and independent country. After Emperor Menelik's invasion, Tigray became an Amhara colony. He has with him a TPLF pamphlet that clearly explains the Amhara hatred. He said, "This is the main principle of the Wayane or TPLF manifesto, which says, therefore, they must free Tigray from Amhara colonialism and establish the government of an independent Tigray Democratic Republic. The Amhara are the enemy of the Tigray people. Not only that, but Amhara are also the double enemy of the people of Tigray," he explains the manifesto. Therefore, they must hit the Amhara harder. They must annihilate the Amhara. If the Amhara are not destroyed, if the Amhara are not beaten up and uprooted from the earth, the people of Tigray cannot live in freedom. Amhara is an impediment of the government that they envisage to establish. TPLF's assault on Wollo and Gondar is a protraction of 3 decades of Amhara annihilation, massacre, displacement and deprivation, conceived and hatched by TPLF headmongers. TPLF's assault in Wollo and Gondar is a protraction of 3 decades of Amhara annihilation, massacre, displacement and deprivation, conceived and hatched by TPLF headmongers. The moment TPLF grabbed power in 1991, largely through the sacrification of Amhara youth and farmers, it kindled fires of hatred, enmity, and prejudice against ethnic Amharas. Using maliciously coded, dehumanizing nicknames like Naftanya, Amharas had been vilified, massacred, and displaced for the last 3 decades, the writer said.
A reminder of the headlines. TPLF's hatred for the Amhara said to have been carefully designed. And breaking all support mechanism for the TPLF said to be urgent.